What's up, everybody, and welcome to another one of our Wednesday calls. So thanks for coming out and joining us live. Today, we are going to be talking primarily about the acquisition side of the business. So everything acquisitions, everything deal analysis. There's different ways to go about finding deals. If you guys have deals you want to go over, put them in the chat as we go throughout this. And we can go ahead and do some live agent calls, live seller calls, whatever you guys need support with. I'm also going to walk you guys through the mindset of acquisitions. As we do acquisitions, like a lot of what I think about, especially when we're doing buy and hold real estate, I'm looking for 1 to 2 really good deals per month, and there's so many different ways to find these types of deals. So if you guys have sellers that you want to call, like deals you want to go over, post them in the chat. We can do some live calls. I'm also just going to break down the mindset and walk you through a few different tools that we have access to that you can use for finding deals. So before we go deep into that, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys just a little bit of other ways to get in touch with the things that we are working on. So my goal with these calls is to help everyone get to their first buy and hold up to $10,000 per month of passive residual income, and then beyond to start doing 1, 2, 3 deals per month consistently over time. So that is kind of the hierarchy that we see. It's first, let me go from not having done a deal or just having done wholesale deals or just having done flips into buy and hold portfolio. And then as you get your first deal that's buy and hold, you start getting passive residual income coming in. We start to feel the weight of our lifts off of our chest, because as we start getting passive cash flow coming in, it's like the weight is gently lifting off of us over time. And the goal is to have as much passive income as you do burn rate per month. If you've ever played the game, what's the name of the game? It's like Monopoly, but it's by the guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. The name of that game is to cover your expenses with your cash flow. And that's the exact game that we're playing in real estate. That's why I always really push on, really focusing in on getting that passive income up front, because that's like for me, the cash flow is the thing that we really start with. Okay, so let me share my screen. Boom. All right, so if you guys aren't already members, hop inside of our school community. There's our free community. We have some stuff in the classroom. Really good foundation series here to really understand the why that you're doing what it is that you're doing. And so hop in here, join this group. It's totally free. And then we also have a lot of content happening on YouTube. I'm working towards 200 subscribers on YouTube. So if you want to support me in getting there, give me a subscribe and hop into the YouTube channel. We do lives once a week, and then we put additional videos out as well. And those are the best ways to get a hold of me and be in contact. And cool. So today, let's discuss acquisitions. So there's a lot of different ways to go about finding deals, and there's a lot of different ways to structure your real estate business. So some of the main ways to go about finding deals, and one of my favorite ways is buying from wholesalers. It's really working with wholesalers, getting wholesalers, a list of wholesalers built out so that we can go and just work with them. Because wholesalers are a lead generation strategy, right? Like wholesalers are a form of lead generation. So they are going to have deals for you, but the deals aren't always necessarily ready for you to go ahead and buy in that moment. So with that being known, we have to really build out a list of these individuals, run the deals for them, and then give them feedback and really work these relationships. I've talked about this before, where when we were wholesalers, what I would do is I would work with really good buyers, and I would work with them over and over again. And they would let me, when I trusted them, I would send them deals before I even had them locked in and say, hey, where would you guys need to be in order to, where would you guys need to be on this deal? And they would give me a price. They say, well, let me run some numbers really quick. And they're saying, obviously it's based off the condition of the property, but based off of what you're telling me, given this neighborhood, given this property, I'd have to be somewhere around this amount. And then I had that as a wholesaler, so I can go back and go to that seller, and I can talk to the seller and know that if I can get it for 100,000, this guy will buy it for 108,000. right? So I could build in my spread that way. And that is one of the most valuable resources to have for like a new wholesaler. Because, wholesalers like us, we were hustling, we were grinding, we were going to figure it out. And we were just in the very beginning stages and we didn't know what we didn't know. So having a buyer in your back pocket who's someone who is like reliable, that can buy deals from you, that is a really, really great way to find deals, to do lead generation. So I really love working wholesales. We've bought probably around 10 deals from agents as well. So we really like working with agents as well, working with wholesalers. We've done a lot of direct to seller. And so there's so many different ways to go about finding deals. So today, if you guys have deals, put them in the comments. If not, we'll go ahead and just look at some deals on propstream and start just like looking around at different types of deals. I'll do some basic underwriting on them, and then we will go ahead and just give them a call and just show you the process for actually talking to an agent. Okay, let me get a spreadsheet out. All right. Cool. Okay. Let's go into PropStream and take a look at some deals. So first, let's go into Kansas City. You really do any market. I'm happy to look at any market. If you guys have a market you want me to go into, let me know. Let's go into filters. Let's look on MLS, on market, for sale, days on market, 50. MLS listing amount, maximum of 275. The reason I did the max MLS listing amount is that's why I like for this market, but every market's gonna be a little bit different. Okay. Let's do some low equity. Max 10%. Okay, cool. Okay, and you can see here, we start to see the estimated loan balance versus the amount that they're selling for. Just kind of see what the situation is a little bit underwater. This is in a trust. Let's go ahead and pull it up. All right. And usually some of my process, like when I'm looking at deals, is I'm going to do a quick nitty gritty at first, like just a quick look into it to see if the deal would potentially make sense. It looks like this one is pretty close to being underwater. They don't have a whole lot of equity. Looks like it's pending already, so it looks like this one probably already was sold. Okay, 103 days on Zillow. So that would have been a good one if it wasn't sold already. Yeah, for everyone who's on the call, let us know a little bit about what you guys are working on in real estate. Like, are you currently going direct to seller? Are you going direct to agent? How are you finding your deals? What's the challenges with finding your deals? Okay, so this one, loan balance is 194, list price is 219. Let's pull her up. And one of the biggest things with working with agents is this has $100 price cut. Interesting. So trying to get more attention on it. 91 days on market. Cool. Let's give them a call. And you guys have to let me know how my audio is for these calls, because this is our first time doing live calls here.
Hello.
Hey, is this Lori?
Yeah.
Hey, Lori, it's Philip. How are you?
Good.
I'm looking at your house on Lafayette Avenue.
Uh-huh.
And I just had a few questions about the property. Do you have a second to chat?
Are you an agent?
No, I'm an investor. I buy houses in the area.
It's under contract. It's closing.
Oh, it's closing. It didn't show that on the.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
show that on the MLS.
Yeah, it's closing. Yeah, sorry, bye.
Okay. Bye bye. All right. On to the next. Okay. It's another one. A lot of working with agents is going to be just building relationships as well. It takes time to call people, to build relationships, to reach out to them. And the biggest thing is everything is in the follow up. Like it's all going to be about the follow up. And one thing I really like about agents is that you're really building up an inventory of people that you can work with repeatedly. These people, like agents have deals all the time. Sometimes they'll give you pocket listings. So it's really just building relationships, seeing what you can do, and then also just getting on the agent side, because at the end of the day, the agent wants to sell these deals. And some agents like her were, not wanting to talk to investors, which is fine. Hey, is this Madeline?
This is she.
Hey, this is Philip.
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm amazing. I was actually looking at this property that you have a listing on Tenney Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is your the listing agent on this?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, amazing. I had a question or two about the property.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess I'm an investor in the area, and I guess I'm one curious what's been causing that not to sell. 'Cause he's been sitting for a little while.
Um, that's a good question. You know, it's I guess it needs some work in the basement. That's true. And then some people don't like that it's on street parking. It's an older house, so it doesn't have any conforming closets or technically conforming bedrooms. And then we've gotten a lot of offers from investors. We're just not really interested in super creative financing.
Gotcha. Okay, what kind of offers have you gotten?
Um, so pretty much anything subject to they're not interested in. Anything that's a balloon, we are not able to do. So anything like that.
Okay, so
Of course, if it's a cash offer or something like that, that'd be fine. But subject to, no, I'm not open to it.
okay, cool. So you've gotten a lot of subject to offers. Do they have a pretty substantial mortgage on it?
Compared to equity, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can always do a cash offer, but I don't know if it would be as interesting to them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So what's their situation now? Because it looks like it's been listed for a while. They finally just sitting around and holding on to it for a while longer.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking to sell it and they're motivated, but, subject to usually isn't in the best offer of the seller. So they're just not interested in something like that. But yeah, it's their house. They're going to keep it on the market until it sells.
Okay. Okay. Are they living somewhere else now?
Right, it's vacant, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. I mean, do you think they would entertain something more creative in the future?
Um, well,
T-
that,
t-
that, that really just depends because, when it's creative, it means it's going to fall back onto them eventually if something were to go wrong. If in the best case scenario, it doesn't. You guys don't default and then you sell it and then it's out their hands, it's out of their name. But the whole point is that they don't want to wait and have that house for, what I mean? They don't want it back. So creative, I don't think so.
yeah, for sure. What's the reason that they decided to sell it?
Um, I don't know how much they want to share about
Gotcha.
that, but more so for family reasons.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Have you ever done any creative deals before?
Gotten lots of offers too.
What's that? You got lots of offers, but you haven't done one?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah, so we have about 60 some houses in Kansas City. So we're definitely like pretty experienced investors, and we do buy cash, but usually we need to be able to put a little bit of work into it to build some equity. And for this one, it seems like there's not a whole lot of space for equity. That's why we'd be more interested in a creative structuring. But we definitely have a really good track record. We work with tons of different agents in Kansas City, and we also like make sure we pay our agents as well. And we're not represented, so we can pay your commission in full.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to waste your time because I know we've had a lot of calls and investors give us offers and they're really not interested. You're always welcome to send something over. If you think it would pique their interest, that's totally fine. I just don't want to get you more hopes up.
Yeah, I mean, usually my experience, if someone's not open to it, they're not open to it. But also, after like 150 days on market, like motivation starts to change a little bit when you're paying that carrying cost and that holding cost.
Right.
And you're not getting it moved. And I know I'm an investor also. So I know as an agent as well, like you probably don't want a bunch of stale property sitting on your books either.
Yeah, right. But it's, it's completely up to the seller.
Of course, of course. Okay. Well, if you don't mind, I'd love to just check in with you. I can send you a text, and then, if their motivations start to change, we're extremely experienced. I can meet with them on video as well and kind of share like what we do with the deals, because our intention would be not to give back the property ever, and we have pretty sound investment strategies, and we have a decent amount of experience.
Yeah. Well, so what was your offer going to be? Because I don't want to tell you no and I don't know, but I'm just assuming that it's similar to what I've heard. But what was your offer or idea?
Yeah, I would say it's probably similar to what you've heard, but we're quite creative, and we're also local in Kansas City. I have my whole portfolio there. We're not calling from the middle of Tennessee trying to buy a house that we've never seen in a place where we've never been. So yeah, so I mean, it really depends on like I don't know what their mortgage is. I don't know what their underlying financing is. I know that they don't have. It seems that they don't have a whole lot of equity. So it would really be we have very appealing ways to structure things. It's usually we structure it so that they make more money than they would if they were to sell it for cash. And in exchange, we'll take over the financing. But there are variables such as what is their interest rate, what do they owe, what is exciting to them. These are kind of things I need to know to really structure a good offer.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. So to give more, detail, you have to know a lot more. I see. But essentially what you would be thinking is subject to, right? If you had to put a name on it.
Yeah. So I mean, if they don't have equity in the property, we would be
Right.
taking over the mortgage.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I will talk with them. I will see if they've changed their minds on that. You're more than welcome to follow up with me, but of course, if they're interested, I will follow up with you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, yeah, it's if the property hasn't sold yet, and I mean, it depends on how much more they're willing to drop. It's like the market's really tough right now. So
Okay.
yeah.
You said your name was Philip?
Yes, ma'am. Loudon.
Okay. 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 Well, it's nice to meet you. I'll talk to my sellers and see if anything has changed.
Okay, amazing. I'll follow up with you.
Okay. Thank you. You have a good night.
Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. How are you guys? Are you guys able to hear? Audio is good? Okay, amazing. Love to hear the audio is good because we have again, I don't know what you guys can hear through my microphone. Okay, great. So that's kind of an example of a conversation I would have, right? And it's not just about the one property. It's about building a relationship. And like these agents are also motivated, right? Like they want to sell deals because they literally don't get paid unless the deals sell. And oftentimes the longer a house sits on market, the more anxiety ridden the sellers are. And it's just like it can be pretty intense. You're dealing with someone who's like needs to sell and they're like messaging you all the time. And so I'm not going to force an offer. I'm not going to waste my time underwriting this deal or really doing anything to the deal. And so I already know that this person is interested, that they're open to a call, but that agent was receptive, right? And also this property has been sitting on market for quite a while, 117 days. Like that's motivation. That's definite motivation. And so that motivation, like we know that we should just follow up. So my next step is I will go ahead and 1 second, let me get to my spreadsheet. Let's make a quick and dirty spreadsheet right here. So agent name, whoops, property address, notes. And you can do this in a CRM, you can do it on a spreadsheet. But the biggest thing is like make calls, make offers, build relationships. So this is Tenney Avenue. And so if you use Go High Level or if you use Podio, we use Podio a lot when we were doing this. So I could always set up like a follow-up date in there. And that was how I would work it. It would just be, there's a follow-up date in my CRM. With that follow-up date, it would tell me when I had to follow up with them again. I didn't even think about it. Every day I would just go through my list, call, follow up, check in. If someone's interested, I'd make the offer. But I'm not going to make an offer until they're more motivated. And she's there, And another thing they might have like heard me do is like they call it scorch the earth. So like I personally have a portfolio. I'm going to leverage what I have, right? So like you have, if you're in like sub 2, or if you have a mentor, if you have someone that you work closely with, leverage their portfolio, leverage what they say. If you're, involved in any private money properties where you're putting money into deals, you can claim ownership of those deals. So you're really claiming that experience because it sounds a lot more convincing when I say I have, over 60 properties in Kansas City. I'm not in the middle of Tennessee calling you about property. Stuff like that, it builds authority. And we want to build trust because, to take over someone's mortgage, like there has to be a level of trust there. Okay, cool. I see some questions coming in, so I'll answer those in a second. Let's go ahead and just finish up my notes here. Sweet agent, seller isn't motivated or ready. Texture and follow up in 5 days. So if I had a CRM, I would go ahead and add that follow-up in. If I wanted to just use spreadsheets, I can literally just put the follow-up date to be 10, 13, 25, and I can organize it based off of that follow-up date. So boom, my little spreadsheet, that's enough for me to work. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to text her. And usually I'm a big fan of text replacement, so I just use the same like type of text. So I would have this saved inside my program, inside my phone. Okay, so there's a copy and paste. Hey, Madeline, Philip here. Great talking to you and hope to do some deals together. If you have any pocket listings or any good flips, we also buy for cash. If not, I hope you can get your head around creative. Lots of opportunities, especially in today's market. So I would then copy that, add that as text replacement into my computer, which I can even show you guys right now as well. And I'll get around to some questions here in a second. So I usually do this on my phone because my iPhone actually connects to my computer. But let me just make sure I know how to do this. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm going to go into, I think you can, maybe you can't see it. So in a Mac, you can do a text replacement. It's in the settings. And so I'm going to go into text replacement and then just add a new one, put agent 1 and replace with that message that I just sent to our agent. It looks like you guys can only see my Google, which is fine. I'm going to be showing the additional screens. So in the comments, I just put to you the text replacement I just set up. So now whenever I type agent 1, that'll be the text replacement. And now I can just call, churn, burn, send text, add to my spreadsheet, add to my CRM, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. It takes 7 times on average of like basically any marketing channel to get a deal. It's all in the follow up, all the goals in the follow up. So you talk to them, you build a relationship, you open other avenues to work together, because agents, the agent's motivation is to get paid. This is a job. They're doing a job. So if you can be a good buyer for them, for cash, for creative, for even wholesale deals from agents. One of our first courses we went through was a small course by Todd Toback that was all about wholesaling deals from agents. And yeah, so anyways, lots of opportunity. Okay, cool. Hello, Mordecai. Joffrey, thank you for confirming the audio. Nice. Yeah, Mark is buying all in the Austin area. Cool. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, the conversations can be easy. Like the conversations don't need to be super complicated, because we're just building a relationship. We're building a bridge. I don't need to buy that house. Like they're getting, as you can hear, they're getting like a bajillion offers. And because they're getting tons of offers, and the ones in Kansas City is a hot market. So they're getting called from people all over the country asking the same questions. And that's why, like, as small fish, and even as larger fish, but like as small fish, when companies grow, the companies start to have a team that will do the sales. And oftentimes, like as a founder who's still like finding the deals and getting off the ground, we can do better as the actual buyers than a salesperson with less experience in real estate. Okay, cool. Awesome. Great to have you. Great to have you in here, Mark. Good to see you in here as well, Wiley. Okay, cool. So let's go around and do the next one. Yeah, I think it's really fun talking to the agents. And yeah, if you guys want to, if you enjoy these types of calls, if you enjoy these going in deep with these agents, bring deals, and we can do them on Wednesdays. We can talk to some people live, also do some deal structuring. I think I clicked on this one last week. So this one's 146 days on market. Bank has received their appraisal. So this is a short sale. So not going to mess with this. Keep scrolling down. We got Georgia Avenue. And like another thing about how I usually do these is, I'm not super concerned about a whole lot of just calling people. Like if I see it's on the low equity list, I don't even care what the actual equity is. If it says it's a short sale, I'm not going to call them, because I don't buy short sales. That's not my current wheelhouse. This one looks like it's not listed. And if you listen to the first call as well, like that first lady, she was, even if the property is actually pending, which I guess it probably is, she was just obviously fed up from talking to a bunch of random investors who are calling her and offering blanket subject to deals. Like one of the good things about that is, I'm not sure why these houses are not actually listed. One of the good things about all these people that are calling is that it really opens the door for someone who knows what they're doing to step in. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to access my MLS really quick just to get off of PropStream, and then I can just go and look at all market deals, and I'll do the filters from there. Currently, PropStream has some issues with me at the moment, so I need to. Actually, not going to work. All right, let's keep doing PropStream. Okay. Feel free to throw, if you have any ones that are like warm leads or good leads to talk to, feel free to throw them in there as well. Or I'm just going to keep kind of scouting. Looks like this one's sold also. PropStream might need to update their data a little bit. Okay, let's go into KC Mo and see if that's any better. Now look at my filters, make sure I'm not messing anything up. MLS, for sale, on market, active. Cool, that should help. Okay, great. That was my mistakes. Apologies to PropStream, that was on me. All right. On the next one, here we go. Price cut 2,500, 89 days on market. Colby Lewis. Anything else we need to see? Looks like nice. It does not look like a flip. It looks like more of an as-is sale. Maybe it could be a flip. All right, let's give him a call.
Hey, this is Julie Lewis with Rescheduled on the team, and you reached my voice now. I don't hear message in that.
Okay. You guys see my Ring Central? I'm not sure if you can see my Ring Central when I pull it up. That's okay. I use Ring Central to call from my computer. All right. So since you can't see, can you see? No, you can't. Since you can't see my Ring Central, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to program a second message for people that didn't pick up. So, hey, Colby, this is Philip. Was just calling about your house, calling about one of your listings on blank. So I'll just leave that blank. Hey, Colby, this is Philip, which is calling about one of your listings on blank. And now I'm going to program that into my computer. And so I will program that into a text replacement. So now whenever I call somebody, now I have a process, right? Okay. No agent one. Cool. Add. Nice. Cool. Now it's programmed in my computer. And so now that I have that, I have a process. All right. So let me go ahead and send that message to Colby. And go back and find that street on Wayne Avenue. Cool. On to the next one. Okay. Estimated equity is negative 17,000. So another interesting one here. Well, let me know if this is helpful for you guys. Is that the same one I just clicked on? No. Listing provided by Michelle Garcia. There she is, 61 days on market. Gorgeous remodels. This one might be a bridge loan. It could be a flip. Lots of flips sitting on market right now. All right, let's give her a call.
Thank you for calling. You have reached Michelle Garcia with the Tina team, and
Let's call her twice. Look at this cool toilet in the basement. No grass.
thank you for calling. You have reached Michelle Garcia with the Tina team and Keller Williams Realty Partners. I am not available to take your call right now, so please leave a message and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Thanks so much. Have a great day. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Michelle, this is Philip. I was calling about your house on Jackson Avenue, the listing that you have, and I have a few questions about the property. So please give me a call back. I'll send you a text also. All right, now I will go to my texts and I'll add in my program text, which is my no agent one. And I'll change the name to be Michelle. I'll change the listing street to be Jackson. Sorry, you guys can't see my ring central, but we work with what we have. Okay, cool. So this is what we call the triple threat, right? So whenever we call somebody, I do this for direct to seller, I do this for direct to agent. We call. Sometimes you call twice. I feel really bad for agents. Like being an agent, it's a tough gig. Like there's so much running around and so much like weekend work, and it's 5:40 right now in CST, and they're getting phone calls. So leave a voicemail, leave a text, and just do what we call this the triple threat, right? Call, voicemail, text, next. And then we can just schedule them. I'll throw that onto my Google Sheet and I will know to follow up with them. So, and you can obviously make a nicer Google Sheet. You can use a CRM, but the general idea is like, let's not overcomplicate. Let's take action. Let's talk to people. Let's continue to refine that and those abilities. And next week, when you guys come onto these calls, I hope you've made a lot more calls. You can bring people that are like, hey, I have a close one, and now let's structure it. Because the real fun in real estate, like where we really want to be, is structuring bigger and bigger and more fun deals, right? The creativity of real estate as an entrepreneur is where we get to problem solve with our brains, figure out, we start learning all these different tools. And then with these tools, we get to add them to our tool belt. And as we add these tools to our tool belt, we're then able to use them in different creative ways, right? And so this is just what we get to do as investors. And as you at the beginning, maybe you're doing the phone calls, and then maybe you hire someone else to do the phone calls and just vet the ones that are interested, and you get to do the high level deal structuring. But as I grow in real estate, I just grow and work on bigger and bigger deals. I'm always deal making. So when I first started, I was doing the texting and calling people and calling sellers. Then I hired a texter to take over that. And then I was still doing the calling. And then I hired a follow-up specialist to call all the old leads, and they were passing the hot ones off. As I cold callers, texters, follow-up specialists, they'd be passing off the really good ones to me. And then all I was doing is then just deal making and following up, because everything is truly, truly, truly in the follow-up. So, and then as you grow through a single family, you might go to multifamily, you might go to RV parks. There's all these different ways to get into bigger and bigger deal structuring. I'm a huge proponent of, I go, not necessarily like you can 10X, I'm a big fan of 10Xing, but like it's good to start with the fundamentals of calling people, talking to people, structuring the deals, understanding the tools, understanding hard money, understanding DSCR loans, understanding creative financing, understanding what a refinance is, understanding how to go about refinancing, the rules of refinancing, and just living and swimming in it. So anyways, that's my spiel. Let's go ahead and add this to our sheet. So boom, here we are. Notes, no answer. So maybe we can just highlight that red. Usually I like to make these a little bit prettier, so you can make it pretty on your own, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Right now it's it'll be red, and then you can just organize them by no answer, or you can have a separate sheet for no answer, or have an actual CRM. Okay, on to the next one. Cool. Let me know if this is helpful for you guys. Is there anything else you guys want to go over? What part is most helpful? Do you like hearing me talk to agents? Do you like hearing my mindset around this? I think the mindset is always what I'm always looking for when I'm working with mentors or even people that okay, cool. Please call my partner Mackenzie. It's her listing. Okay, amazing. So now I need to, can I find Wayne Avenue again? There it is. So I messed up and did not put in my sheet. Cool. That's why that triple threat works really well. Gotta leave a message. Gotta text them. I'm on Mackenzie. Okay, there we go.
Hello.
Hey, is this Mackenzie?
Yeah. This is fun.
Hey, this is Philip. I just texted you. I think it's your partner or someone, but I spoke with someone about the property on Wayne Avenue, and they told me to reach out to you.
I'm sorry. On what was the address?
Wayne,
Oh yeah.
3814 Wayne
Yeah,
Avenue.
I can help you.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in a little more information about this property. I'm an investor in the area, so I buy quite a bit in Kansas City, and this is an area that we'd like to buy in. And so, yeah, I guess I have a few questions. One is I see it's been sitting for a little while, so I want to kind of know, is there any major issues with it, or if this was a flip house?
No. Sorry, I was checking out a ID. It was purchased by my clients back in 2020, 21. I think it's 2021 when they purchased it. And we got under contract the first week. The buyer, was the first-time home buyer, got cold feet. We have an inspection on it. Great house. Everything is pretty much brand new as of 2020 and 2021. Brand new sewer line. Brand new electrical panel in 2023. And so lots of things all updated. And then that buyer literally just got cold feet. Didn't ask for any repairs to be done when my clients would have been open, even though there really wasn't anything to do. And then a lot of the feedback that we've gotten is just that it's the street parking. Like people don't like that there's not driveway. So that's kind of why it's been sitting. And then obviously just the market's been a little bit wonkier and changing. So nothing wrong with the house. It's in the disclosure. There are bats in the attic. And my clients, pending the offer, like we dropped it so low that, right now where we're at, they have the means at closing to mitigate them. They kind of saying, hey, well, if you come in at a certain amount, we might have to say, you handle the bats versus us.
What do you do to handle the bats?
So bats are an endangered species, so they have to be handled by like a proper critter company.
Oh wow, okay.
And so they the bats are just an attic, and they're an easy thing to get rid of, but it just takes the process of basically you plug up all the holes where they could have gotten into the attic. They are able to fly out, but they can't fly back in. And then they come back in afterwards after a few weeks of making sure they all got out, and they swap out the insulation because obviously it's soiled, and their feces are actually like really dangerous to humans. Like there's no problem with the house because they're not inside. It's just an attic, so they just replace those.
Gotcha.
All of the
Okay, so you've done your homework on the bats. Okay, amazing. Once again, I'm an investor, so I'm not sure if I am the buyer for you, but we could do cash, but obviously like we have to build in some equity one way or another, and the only way would be to have a lower cash price. I'm sure you've gotten a bajillion people offering you different types of creative structuring, but that's really what we specialize in. We have over 60 houses in Kansas City. Have you had that conversation with the seller yet?
We've had a lot of different creative offers thrown at us. My clients are very big on, they do not want to be on the loan anymore. Like we would either want someone to take it over with their own loan because a loan is not assumable, or come in with cash. And we've had lots of investors coming at us, and I will present any offer, but they do not want to be on the loan anymore. Like that is their goal, is to not be on the loan at all. People have thrown trucks at us. They've thrown balloon opportunities, all the different things, creative ideas that can come up. They don't want to be on the loan. It's the biggest thing.
Gotcha.
So if you guys have cash, that's awesome. Especially I understand there's certain numbers. We started at 80 and it was comped low. Like I comped that really, really well. It's just the market obviously is doing weird things, and we have to adjust to that market. So that's why we've had to drop where we are now.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. What's their situation? Like what's the reason that they're selling this house? They're moving elsewhere?
Yeah, they moved closer to family, got married, a little too tired of space for them.
Gotcha. Okay. And what's their main concern? Have you ever done creative deals before, like as an agent?
Yes, but they do not want to be on the loan. So if it has anything to do with that, we'll present it, but they're struggling with staying on the loan.
Do you think that after like 100 more days, they'd be open to staying on the loan?
It would really depend on the offer, because some of the offers that we've had come in have been lower than where we're at, and where we're at is like they would be getting close to like taking money to the table to close, and they don't obviously can't do that.
Yeah, so maybe if there's a way that we can get them some money in their pocket, and rather than bringing money to the table, we're creative. We have different ways to structure things, but like the first thing is like,
Sure.
If they're, time increases, this as an agent, like time increases motivation, right? Because I've had houses sitting on market many times, and it's, the creative deals start looking more and more interesting as,
Absolutely, but they also have to make money off of it, and every creative deal that we've received so far is way too much risk. And basically it's just too much risk versus what the money that they'd be getting anyway.
Gotcha.
So, I mean,
Okay.
I'm not opposed to them. They're not opposed to them completely right now, but like their main thing is that they want someone to just come in and pay for it or get a loan for it. Because they just don't want to take their hope is to not take the risk of doing that versus, I mean, they don't want to rent it themselves because they don't want to get into that business, but if it's going to risk, who knows what they'll end up deciding to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. That totally makes sense. Okay. I mean, if I had a little more information about the property and maybe like how much they owe and the underlying financing, I could, start getting my fingers around like what it is that we may be able to offer, because that's obviously going to be important factors. Do you know what the underlying mortgage payments are?
So they don't want me disclosing that right now, at the moment of like where they're at, like how much is left on the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you guys can figure out rough numbers of what's out there. But they've asked me not to disclose that at the moment.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean, that's really the information that we need to craft a really good offer. Because like if the loan payments are more than what market rents are in the area, or if their interest rate's 8%, it's going to be a lot different than if their interest rate is like 2%.
I'll tell you that their monthly is significantly lower than what the average price of rentals are in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, but it sounds like even with that, like they're not ready to entertain those offers quite yet.
They are entertaining any offer. I've had probably 3 creative offers come at me in the last week. None of them have hit the mark of where they feel comfortable. I have another person who said they're going to get back to me today. But nobody's been able to provide me the proper information to share to my clients, because I explain it to them and they have a lot of questions, they take them back, but nobody's presented me with a well thought out proper offer, with like what the terms would be, anything like that. It's just been very vague offers, and then we find out that they're not offering it with a loan or cash. It's to put it in a trust or something like that, and they're keeping it very vague and not sharing all the information. So if a creative offer comes across that I think that they would feel comfortable in, sure, but right now the ones that they're getting just isn't enough information for them.
Right. Okay. Well, we'd be taking over their mortgage. And it's how about this? Since you guys have the information, you kind of know where you need to be. Like, are they? So you're saying that there is being a little bit vague with the trust information, right? Like, did they understand the concept of us taking over their mortgage?
Yes.
And they would entertain that if there's enough cash in their pocket to make up for the risk that they would have.
I mean, and a lot of things have to be written out, clauses, all of that for them to feel comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of that secure.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the buyer, the person taking over, defaults, then they're right back in the same position right now.
Yeah, we can structure a performance deed or some sort of performance deed to make sure that if there was default in the property, we get deeded back over to them. Like, we're happy to structure something in that way. And we're also local to Kansas City. My whole portfolio of over 60 houses is Kansas City. So we're definitely legit. We're definitely local. I'm not calling you from the sticks of Illinois or California, just trying to buy houses that we've never seen before.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think a good thing would be maybe discuss with them and kind of see, because you guys have more information than I do, and I'm also a busy guy. It's where we do buy quite a few properties. I'm looking for to buy 1 or 2 more this month. And so like I don't want to structure out a whole deal when I don't have all the information I need to really structure a deal. So maybe if you could talk to them.
I mean, the purchase price that we're at, they can't go much lower, especially if the buyer's wanting the bats mitigated. So if it was something where the bats were off the table, they didn't have to worry about it, they might be able to entertain something lower. But right now, they're pretty much like we're pretty much at close to the end of our rope of how low we can go.
And then how much out of
If
pocket?
that gives you an idea. I mean, he purchased the house for 165 4 or 5 years ago. You can see that.
Okay, cool. So we're talking about $7,000 up front, and then your commission as well, and then a loan that is
and closing costs and anything like that.
Sure. And then we take over the loan as is. I really just need to know what the monthly payments would be, PITI, on the underlying. That can get you a pretty good deal, a pretty good number around this deal, and see what we can figure out.
If you can email me or text me all your information, I will talk to them and see if they will give me permission to share that information.
Okay.
But right now, I just can't.
Yeah, for sure. And if they want to hop on a Zoom and see like my face and say hi, I'm happy to do that also. I'm happy to share more information about us and like some of the properties that we own, because we definitely have experience.
Sure. And I think that might help is for them to be able to talk to, because nobody's offered that conversation either, of like having it to where they can at least ask questions and all of that. Because obviously I played middleman at one point, and I'm going to answer all their questions the best I can, but sometimes they might have additional questions that might be better.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work to pay middleman. We're dealing with creative structuring, so it's best to just kind of all be around together and to see if there's a possibility. If there's not, it's totally fine. We bought tons of houses like this where we make an offer and we follow up, 40, 50 days later, and the property still isn't sold, and then they're a lot more motivated. So I'd be happy to do that. So I'll go ahead and text you my information. I'll text you over my email address, and then I'll let you know what we need, and then maybe we can structure time for a quick call.
Okay, that sounds great. I really appreciate it.
Perfect. Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, cool. So yeah, you guys can still hear him. So that right there is a freaking. You guys can hear me? Okay, that's a really solid lead. Like, that agent is interested. They weren't interested, right? So you have to get through that initial screen. There's like basically getting called by VAs and random people all the time. So you have to break through just their BS detector and be like, okay, we're legit. And I know some people in Rap Academy, like, you are calling from California to Kansas City. But you can find another thing to say. Like, hey, I've been in the game I bought land in different places all over the country. La-di-la, you can say really whatever, and just find the way to make them trust you. And so, most agents don't want you to talk to the buyer or to the seller. But I am a busy guy, and I'm not going to just write up some blanket offer and send it to them so the agent can try to explain to them and not have it actually go through, right? Because the reality is there are a lot of motivated people right now. There's tons of motivated people trying to sell properties on market. Lots of motivation going on. Okay, cool. So we have a question from Wiley. Is this helpful? If this is helpful, give me a thumbs up, or let me know in the comments if this is valuable. I love this stuff. It's really fun for me. So I hope you guys are getting value out of it. And yeah. And if people are doing deals in Kansas City, I can pass you off some of my leads. Okay, cool. Anything in particular you look for with an on-market property besides low equity or high days on market? Not really. I mean, with properties that are on market, it doesn't even need to be. I look for low equity. Like, low equity is the main component. And also, there's so many ways to structure deals. Like, Morby method is another one. Like, if you don't know what the Morby method is, Morby method is a really amazing creative way where you can get the seller to basically finance your entry fee into a property. So you can buy a property with a DSCR loan, and then they'll finance that down payment that goes into getting their own financing in place. So with a deal structure like that, there's so many more opportunities that become available as well. So I would just specialize in, Morby methods are really great ways to structure deals. I like sub twos a lot. So low equity and high days on market. If you run out of those, which you probably will not, next thing is going to be just high days on market. And then you can also do, you can do search queries in the MLS, search queries on Zillow, like motivated seller, need some work, TLC, and just based off of that, you can do search queries to find people as well. There's so many ways to find leads. FSBOs, they just call it FSBOs, new ones that come up every single day. So there's all these different ways. Okay, cool. Whoops, show hide. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and add her back into my sheet. I will call her a hot one. And then Michelle also called me back as well, one of the other agents. So this is Mackenzie. So hot lead. So let's add a status over here. Oops. Okay. Next step. Oops. Cool. All right. So yeah, so Joffrey has a really good point here. He says, I buy land across the country. Remote isn't hard. Winning the heart of the agent is key. Focus on being their commission advocate, and they will become your ally to help educate the seller. Fully agree. And if you notice, like a few more like small things I said in there as well was like I asked her if she's ever done a creative deal before, because like we have to find the gap. Like, where's the gap? Is the gap in the agent's belief in creativity, or is it in the seller's belief in creativity? Because most of the times the agent is the source of information. So if they don't believe in the idea of creative financing and they don't believe in it themselves, they think it's all a scam, they're never going to portray that to the seller in a way that gets them to actually sell. Right. So you have to win the heart of the agent. You have to understand where that gap is. So for this agent, she said she had done creative before. I even could have pressed a little bit deeper and said, what kind of creative deals have you done before? So we start understanding her experience with creative deals. So that's a really, really great point, Joffrey. Okay, Wiley says the last lead I would have written off is not motivated enough, but what makes you say that's a hot lead? Just that they are open to a creative offer if it meets their criteria. Um, I would say that on that lead, I broke through their BS detector, right? She's willing to put me on a phone call with the seller. And also at the end of the day, like if I find someone who's open to listening and who's like they're in a motivated situation, they have no equity, they just moved to a different house, they have a vacant property. So these are all like pieces of motivation. It's been sitting there for a few months. Um, they have bats in the attic that they can't pay for. So like the bats are also a thing that they have to deal with. They have no equity. They're dealing with this situation with a bunch of bats. Um, and the agent was open, right? The agent was open-minded to the idea of me talking to those sellers on Zoom and presenting my offer to them on Zoom so that I can get face to face with the actual sellers. And at that point, it's just like we know they're motivated. If there's a motivated lead, and they're not crazy underwater, there's a way to structure that makes it a win-win. Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance, sure. And like at the end of the day, like what we're optimizing for is like, well, we're optimizing for not wasting our time, right? If I thought that was going to waste my time to talk to them on Zoom, I wouldn't do it. But that'll take 15 minutes using like knowing how to underwrite these deals, which you also know how to do, Wiley. You can then underwrite them super quick and start to they already had multiple creative offers and they weren't good enough, right? So they've taken in creative offers, 3 or 4 of them, presented them to that seller, and they're saying it's not good enough. So now we just need to find out like what is good enough. And even heard the agent say, she said like we have all these half-baked offers. No one offered to talk to the seller. No one offered to do this. Because what's happening is there's tons of people in like sub two are just calling agents randomly all around the country, and they're not actually paying attention to like the core tenets of sales, which is being of service to the individuals. So we get to see like we understand their situation. How can we help them get out of this challenging situation? They're scared of default. They're scared of us not making the payments. They're scared of their credit getting hit. So how can we alleviate those efforts? And one of the best ways is doing things face to face. And like scientific studies have shown that like Zoom is just as effective as being in person. Even when I was doing tons of wholesaling, I very rarely went in person because I'd rather save myself time and energy so I can talk to more people and get more scale and more volume of deals. So amazing. Yeah, these are all great questions. Thanks everyone for coming out. If this was beneficial, let me know. I'm very open to doing this, calls like this every single week where people can just bring deals. We talk to them, we structure them together. If people want to do some JVs, especially our students want to do some JVs, we can work on that as well. But thank you guys for coming out and joining. It makes it very fun to have people to do this with. And let me know one takeaway that you guys have. Post in the chat, post it on our school, and we will see you guys next week. We have one final question, and you put it back on them to send their mortgage info rather than sending them a quick offer. Yes, I am not going to waste my time sending a quick offer unless they are willing to meet me halfway, right? So like if they're not showing any signs, just like, oh, send me an offer. I'm not going to send you an offer. That's a way for you to get off the phone. Like, you know, I'm a busy guy. I will buy 1 or 2 houses this month, and it can be from you or it can be from someone else. And you know, or I can call you back in 100 days, and then I'm sure they're going to be pretty motivated at that point. Cool. All right. So great questions. Thank everyone for coming, and I will see you guys next week. Subscribe to the YouTube. I'm working to get to 200 people. Join the school. Reach out to me directly, and see you guys next week.